Hello, and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin hasn't really moved much today, but might have started the journey higher in wave C of Y of 2 in the yellow scenario. At least it seems like some kind of a swing low is in place, possibly in wave B. And the market should move towards 96,350 now. At least that's where I would like it to go for a clearer wave C of Y of 2 in the yellow scenario. Again, all options at the moment remain on the table. We talked in the previous video about the idea that this is the yellow count where we're forming either a larger wave 2, maybe wave 2 topped, or it's a wave 4. In all of these scenarios, it's seen as a corrective bounce after a potential impulse to the downside. So we're simply watching how high this goes. And as long as the market stays, or the price stays below resistance, which means below the key resistance level here, the upper one, at 100,518 in the coming week, lower prices will be expected. Yeah. Now, that might change if we suddenly see a lot of aggressive upside momentum, which then will lead to a break above 100,518. I mean, at some point we have to say the downside pressure reduces, and that would be clearly a break above the key pivot here, the resistance area, right? That's normally how it works. The market formed an impulse down, best I can tell, and now this seems to be clearly like a corrective bounce. And only a break above resistance will reduce the downside pressure. So, again, it doesn't mean we have to go down further immediately. I know a lot of people get bearish now because the market has been dropping for a bit and altcoins don't look particularly, great. But don't forget that we're still within a larger uptrend. So I cannot confirm yet that a major top is formed. I simply see this as a corrective pullback in a still unfolding overall uptrend. And the microstructure is a bit unclear at the moment. If we talk about the white count, the way it's labeled, that a wave 2 already topped here on the 10th of January, I don't see that as very likely now, given that this is clearly a 3-wave move down. So I think yellow is more probable. And it's important to understand that the probability of these microstructures, it is very dynamic, okay? Super dynamic, because had we, for example, seen a 5-wave move down from the top, white would have become more probable. Yeah. At the moment, it looks as if a top has not formed yet in this correction. Yeah. So I'm watching for higher in the short term, especially given that the decline here after the swing high that formed on Friday, the decline is in 3 waves. And if we have a pullback in 3 waves, it typically suggests higher. That's why I already highlighted to you, I think it was on Friday, the potential for a WXY structure in a wider wave 2. But don't misunderstand this. I mean, technically speaking, the white wave 2 could have topped there. But it's a very, very weak wave 2. I think I said that in the last videos. And having such a weak wave 2, which hasn't even reached the 38.2 retracement, it is extremely rare. Therefore, a wider wave 2 makes more sense. Or, and that would be a reasonable alternative, this could only be a wave 4. A wave 4, however, should stay below 96,350. And then we could, even in the blue count, see another move down maybe early next week or around the weekly candle close. And it will be this area around 87,480, which will become particularly interesting, because in the blue count, the overall correction could complete in this area. I talked about that in a little bit more detail in the previous video. That's not that I predicted to form a low there. It's more like an area to watch. It's like a pivot and an important level of interest, okay? But in the short term, it seems like the market is poised to go a little bit higher. And the downside targets ultimately depend on where this top forms, okay? Now, at this point, I would say a little higher seems likely. But as soon as we see a break below the intraday low that formed at $93,700, this swing low, this would be the first indication that some kind of a top is in place and the market makes another attempt of dropping lower. However, then the market needs to take out this swing low as well from Thursday. And this would open the door, I believe, to reach 87,480 next. A lot of altcoins are still hovering below resistance as well, like Bitcoin. So likelihood is they will move together. That's what we're watching at the moment. But on the micro level, really, this is just a sideways range. And there hasn't been much movement over the weekend. So we're kind of over-analyzing a little bit maybe. But part of this is also the educational aspect. So the parameters, of course, have not changed. So I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.